Doesn't matter. Tracksuit, innit? Right, I'm here with the main man. The main man.
Main man.
And a friend of mine, actually.
Good friend of yours.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really like you, Peter, but you already know that.
Well.
Genuine, you say it how it is.
Do you want me to hold one of
I
them?
want you to choose a colour, Peter.
Red's dangerous, so I'll take the black.
Red's dangerous, as he says, sitting with October Reds. We're here in Birmingham, and I'm joined by Peter Fury after the pleasantries. Peter, we're just gonna go straight to the.
Yeah.
Talk to me about. Is it Kraus? What's his surname?
He's called Gradus Kraus.
Gradus Kraus.
Yeah.
And he's a Dutchman.
He's from the Netherlands, yeah.
Talk to me about him, because he's. What I will say is, I thought he was a super middle. He's not. He's a light heavyweight. I know that you've been to-ing and fro-ing from Holland with him, because I heard Matty Harris speak about him a few times, and I've seen him in some of your social media.
Yeah.
Strong, aggressive, knows how to pick his shots, quick on the feet. I mean...
Well, you've seen him.
Well, I did.
Does he tick the boxes?
I think he ticks more than the boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking forward to seeing him fight in the UK.
He's a phenomenal talent. So he's only had, let's bear in mind, he's only had 3 pro fights.
Oh
so
my gosh.
There's still things to work on. But yeah, phenomenal young prospect.
He's only had 3 pro fights.
He's had 3 and 3 KOs, yeah.
So a light heavyweight that's actually stopping people as well.
Oh, he's got power, yeah, for sure.
How did he come to your attention then, Peter?
I've known Gradus since he was a baby. I used to train his father. So his father had some pro fights with me, Albert Kraus, his dad. And it's all part of the same, we're all part of the same team. You've got Dennis Kroeel, who trains Rico Verhoeven. I worked with Dennis and Rico Verhoeven for years.
Yes.
Albert Kraus, Dennis, Rico's trainer, used to train Albert in the kickboxing. Had 9 world title championships.
Okay.
You know, so it's all in-house. So he's yeah, I've seen him from a little kid. I've even had him on the pads when he was about 6 or 7. So yeah, he's been with me, and his father has, yeah, from being a child, and he's grown up in the with us really. So he's not like just come with me. He's grown up with me really.
I love that. It's what we can see is that skill, and you know how many times I hear people say, "Oh, they didn't really perform that well in the ring." But I tell you what, if you ever saw them spar, Peter, talk to us about that difference, because I've just watched Fran Hennessy and Jess Barry literally go like it was a world title fight in there. Talk to me about that difference between like the fight on the night in front of the big crowd, the lights, and then the sparring, which honestly, it's beautiful to watch. I really love watching a good spar, and today I've seen 2 of them.
So I think a spar is a spar, but when you get in there, it's that light bulb comes on, and it's that killer instinct, isn't it?
Killer instinct.
So it's different. A spar really is a workout, you know, and that's how they view it. That's how Gradus views it, for sure, and I'm sure Fran does as well. But it's practicing your skill sets and things like this. But the problem is when you get big punches, you know, even in spars, it looks heavy.
Yes, it does.
You know, so this is what it is. But you know, it's sparring and come on, mate.
It's all right. You can walk through. Yeah. The man himself, Mick Hennessy.
Exactly. So sparring and the real thing is different. But listen, I'm a big advocate of sparring, because this is where you see your weaknesses, because you've got to be it back.
Right, okay, because some people say, oh, I don't really like to do the tough sparring, I prefer a little bit of technical, this, that and the other. Peter, talk to us about your style and why you like to see the spar. I know you just said, yeah, it highlights weaknesses, but what else is it about sparring that nurtures the fighters?
I think every kind of sparring. I think technical sparring's good, sometimes proper open sparring we call it, and sometimes body sparring, so you just mix it up. It depends how the fighters feel, you know, and it's just things like this. So everybody trains differently, don't they?
When you saw him, and we just spoke about it briefly out there, what is it that you will look at a fighter and think, you know what, you can see the potential in them sometimes that they can't see in themselves, or maybe they think they've got it but they don't necessarily know it yet, How can you spot that? How can you look at a fighter and think, yeah, they're going to become something? No, they're not. What is it that you see that rose-tinted glasses me can't?
I think it's all about the character and the mindset, and there is natural abilities involved. I've always said you can't shine a piece of coal to be a diamond, but there's a lot of fighters, some fighters, not them all, but you'll get some fighters who are overconfident, and then they got not a lot of talent, but they believe that the best thing since sliced bread, and then you've got quality fighters that hasn't got a lot of confidence and unsure of themselves. So again, it's a mind growing process. You know, we was talking earlier, and I said to you, you know, this boxing, it's like life. There's ups and downs, just like a boat being on the sea. You know, sometimes it's calm, sometimes there's waves, sometimes there's wind. It's the same. It replicates life. So what makes the champions is the ones that can roll with the punches, as they say. So yeah, that's basically it, really. So you get to see over the years who has got talent and who hasn't.
So Kraus, then, when can we see him out? Because now I'm excited to see him out. I haven't seen any of his fights before. Like I said, I know he's part of your team because I've seen the social media. But when are we going to see him out, and how can we get tickets and support him and all the good stuff?
He's on Izzy Asif show on GBM on March the 8th. So this will be his UK debut.
Ooh.
And then after that, he's on April the 4th with Huey and Shakam, where he defends where he fights for the European title. So he's got two fights back to
like
back
that.
in the UK.
That relationship that you're building with GBM, we saw that Huey recently signed a long-term deal partnership with them.
Yes.
Talk to us about working with GBM. I know you've sort of like been there in the background. You're part of that team as such, but working with them and getting Huey active again, because this is one of the fighters I often like bang my head against the wall and like his activity. It's like he's there, then he disappears, he comes back.
No, he's going to be active this year now. We've got a warm-up fight for him because last time he boxed was October, I think.
Yeah.
So he's going to get out on April the 4th. And then in May, he's going to get in a big fight, or as big a fight as GBM can get for him. So that's where we are. So he's going to be busy.
And that's what we want to see. We saw Fran. Obviously, now she's on the March the 7th card. I was speaking to her about that because I did see Fran. You know, when they did the media day down in London, I saw Fran and Savannah, actually. I did see that Fran looked a bit frustrated. But like I said to her, I didn't really want to pick at her flesh because I know that sometimes things are raw and sometimes you can say things when you're raw that you might not necessarily say when things have calmed down. So I left her alone for a bit. She's now on the card. Talk to us about Fran, and then obviously we can move on to your fighter, Savannah.
I think little Fran's a fabulous young talent.
Oh, yes.
She's definitely a world champion in the making. But again, she's got her head down. She's got the right work ethic. She's listening. She's taking everything in like a sponge. And, you know, so far so good. And I'm pleased she's on at the Royal Albert Hall. It's a lovely event, that is. So I'm happy for little Fran that she's on there. So it's all worked out good in the end. So I'm pleased about it.
So what's happened with Savannah? Obviously, I know that she went over to PFL for a bit as well, doing well over there, and then come back to boxing. Obviously, Savannah was there at the press conference. I've seen her at a few boxer events, but then she put out a statement. Obviously, shared it, and it's like, what's going on? I mean, what's happening?
Yeah,
that's Kraus there that just walked in front of the camera with, his six pack.
There was some complications with what the deal was and everything else, but it's not for me really to go into it. I think it never happened for various reasons. But I know boxers are working round the clock now to try and get Savannah in a big fight.
Okay.
So they are working on it. Mick Hennessy's working on it with Ben Shalom, and they're trying to get her a good fight very soon.
Okay, and we'll leave that there then. Peter, it's this weekend. Is obviously the crescendo fights. We've got Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev going at it again. Talk to us about those two fights, Peter, and break it down on who you think will win this time and why.
I think if Beterbiev goes to the body a lot more, he's going to have a lot more success. So will he do that? Can he do that? All these are open for... we're going to find out Saturday. Bivol, is he going to do the same thing? Which he's got to do something different. He's got to bring something different to the table.
Something different.
Because he's going to be an early man again. So he's got to change it up.
Do you think he can though, Peter? Because you know when you look at the styles, he's set in his ways. He's got that. His punch output was really good, but Beterbiev was able to, get around the guards, work his way around him, really find the angles and put his own work in. Can Bivol switch it up? Can he potentially push for that KO?
I think Bivol, what he will do, I think he'll box first half of the fight. And I think the second half, he's got to hold his feet. And he's got to try and get stuck in and sway that fight properly. Because that's the advice I'd be giving him.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. And then the heavyweights, Joseph Parker goes up against Daniel Dubois. I did say, and I have said it several times, that I believe that those are the two most improved heavyweights.
Definitely.
They're now going at it. The IBF belt's on the line. Talk to us about that fight, Peter.
I think it's a great matchup. I really do. Parker's got the experience, but so's Dubois now. So they've been in good fights already. They're both on terrific form. Parker's just not got to get caught clean.
Okay.
That's the $1 million question. With all the boxing skills, offsetting his feints and boxing skills, is it enough to keep Dubois at bay? But if you can, and he rolls with them shots, it can be a lot different outcome. I really do see that fight as a 50-50.
Yeah.
He could easily go Parker's way. Parker could get the stoppage late on.
I saw Andy Lee did I think they had the grand arrivals, and Andy Lee was sort of like saying, you can't, honestly, you sure? You don't mind? Andy Lee was saying that Joseph Parker has to nullify the jab of Daniel Dubois because he sees that as his strongest point. He says that he believes if he nullifies that, he believes that Daniel Dubois is almost like programmed to fight a certain way. And when you disrupt the program of Daniel Dubois, that's how you're able to get the better of him, i.e. the fight that he had with Usyk. It's like you have to disrupt him. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? That's just a summary of what he said, but it was along those lines, Peter.
It comes down to the same old adage, doesn't it? We can all look from here and say this, that, now it should be done.
Yep.
But when you've got a live opponent coming out of that corner and it's for real with them small gloves on and they can knock a wall down and they're coming to kill you, then it's a different thing. So let's see.
Because Daniel does have that energy about him, like he is coming to kill. He's literally got that seek and destroy. When you look at him, you could see him yesterday, even when he went up on the stage, he was like really hyped up. He was like, he's almost growling. He just wants to get in the ring and get on with it.
But that could be his downfall as well, because if he starts loading up, he's going to gas out.
Okay.
So there's one thing throwing hard punches, another thing loading up with them.
Yeah.
And if that happens, that'll play right into Parker's field. So there's a lot of, you can sway up and down with this.
All right.
But the main thing is, Parker's got the ability to beat him. Yeah. Dubois raw, he's aggressive and got a lot of power in his hands. Can he hold him off?
Can he hold him off?
Can he nullify that power?
Yeah.
Let's see. I know they're on about the jab, but it's all easier said than done. We won't really know until the bell goes, and then we'll see how it's going. But yeah, both of them will have the right strategies. It's which one plays out the best. But you can have the best strategy under the sun. It's boxing at the end of the day, and they're heavyweights.
And this is what we love about it. Joshua Buatsi's going in against Callum Smith. I need to say Callum Simpson then, but Callum Smith. Yep. Talk to us about that fight. How do you see that going?
It just depends what Callum Smith has got left.
Everyone says that.
I haven't seen his last fight, but he's had a tune-up.
Yeah, he had not a knockover, but yeah.
Buatsi's been very active. He's coming off some good wins.
Yep.
So in that regard, you'd have to favour him to box. But if Smith's fresh, you got to say he's a bigger puncher, a lot bigger puncher.
Okay.
So that can even up the scales properly. So again, it's a good fight. Look, people say, you sit on the fence, but there's no sitting on the fence because these type of fights can go any way. Yeah. That's why they're good fights. Parker Dubois, great fight. This one's a great fight. So you can't say that one's going to win. You can slightly favour Buatsi in this one because of the activity.
Okay.
But that's all. The other one's got the power. Does that make it up? We'll see.
Well, another one of a fighter that did have in your sabre was Dillian Whyte. He goes up against Joyce. Frank Warren's put out a heavy impact card that's 5th of April.
Yeah.
Those two going at it, and I'm not writing off Joel Joyce. A lot of people like to do that, but he's still a live wire. He's still a lively opponent, but you're the expert in this field. What do you think of that fight?
I think it's a good fight. I think Dillian's got quicker hands.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. If he stands toe to toe, let's see what happens. He's a juggernaut for a reason, isn't he? So, listen, I wish both guys the best. I'm sure it'll be a good fight. They're training hard for it. I know Dillian's been out a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, he fought Tete, who Fraser Clark's fighting next as well.
So yeah, let's see. That should be entertaining.
Richard Riakporhe going up against Lawrence Okoli, and now they're both at heavyweight. Lawrence Okoli has done Bridger, gone to heavy. He's a WBC, I think, silver champion. Richard Riakporhe's jumped straight from cruiser, gone to heavy, and taken on Lawrence Okoli straight away. What do you think of that?
Yeah, this is one of them again. I think it's a good fight, but I'd have to favour Okoli in that one.
Talk to us.
Okoli, I think he works very hard. He's very determined. How much does the other fella work behind the scenes? And I believe he's got a good life as well. He does this modelling and stuff, and he gets paid good money. So does that take the edge off? And in a fight like that could be the matter of winning and losing. So for that reason, I'll go with Okoli in it.
The heavyweights then, we've had, obviously, your nephew Tyson says that he's retired, obviously, after his 2 fights that he's had with Usyk. And then we saw, obviously, Daniel Dubois, what he did to Anthony Joshua. What do you think about Anthony Joshua? What do you think he should do next? I mean, there's potential of a rematch. It's like, yeah, what do you think?
Keep fighting.
Yeah?
Yeah. Win, lose, so what? Get stuck in, isn't it? It's not exactly holding his thing out, busking a few quid, is he?
True.
So the money's there. The young men, aren't they? Get as much as they can while they can. So, yeah, you can turn it around. Can you go off his last performance? Not really.
Why? Why, Peter?
Because he made horrendous mistakes there. Which full credit to Dubois, but he did make a lot of silly mistakes. And he'll know that anyway. His team will know that. So it's all about, it's what you do on the night. It's what you do. See, these game plans are all so well and good if the opponent stood off you and you got time to think about them. Because Dubois shot out across the ring, it's all gone up in smoke. Because it's hard to keep calm and collected when you're under pressure. We can all do good things when we're under no pressure. What's people like when under pressure? I can relate to this in all walks of my own life as well. I've seen things. I've seen what people do under pressure. Who cracks?
Who's who?
Who's who, yeah. That shows you that. So, same in boxing. So you can have the best game plan in the world, like I was getting with Parker and Dubois. You can be a scientist. Well, let's see. Because, you've always got to look at the bleakest side. You've always got to look at things that can go wrong in boxing. Not what goes right. Let's look what can go wrong and work on that. So yeah, this is the thing with a fight game.
So how do you build a fighter, Peter? I know you said that, but it's like you said, it's all right having a game plan. But if somebody's going to come at you and put that pressure on you, you've got to be able to withstand that and overcome it. How do you build your fighters to be able to say, all right, you're going to fight this person and they're going to put tons of pressure on you? How do you get in your fighter's head to make sure that they can overcome it? What happens? What do you have to do to the fighters?
Look, I always work on defence first and attack later. Because without defence, you got nothing. You're just a china pot waiting to be thrown on the floor. Because without defence, you got no boxing. Because you're going to get found out. You're going to get hit. So unless you can roll with the punches and you can take the sting out of them, and boxing is a skill. I don't care however you are, what the weight is. If you're prepared for things. You see many fighters who go up against the ropes and they stand there and let other fighters offload on them. You see even world champions fight like that. And you think to yourself, what are they doing these? All they got to do is close the distance. What do you do to stop a man from punching? Or a woman? Cut the distance down. You can't punch from here to me, can you?
Okay.
So what do? Just sit back on the ropes and block big shots coming, especially from an heavyweight? What do you think you're doing? So to me, these are not world level boxers. They've been promoted the right way, but that's how it ends. Because when I see him box, I think, yeah, he knows as much about world level boxing as my daughter knows, and she's not a boxer. But that's reality, because the foolish things you see people do is like you think to yourself, well, what is that about?
Interesting. And we're going to leave it there. Peter, we're going to have to do a part 2. I know you're here on Friday. I might stalk you a bit this week.
That'll do. Abs, it's lovely to see you. Would you get a 2 minutes with my
come on.
man Gradus? Gradus, come over here.
I've got to literally sit on Peter's lap now. Oh, and it's the man himself, Hennessy. I need you to introduce
That's
yourself.
about as much as you're going to see of him. Yeah.
I need you to introduce yourself to our viewers. I've just watched some really good sparring.
Yeah.
But our viewers haven't seen that, so let them know a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Gradus Kraus and I come from the Netherlands. And I train also with Peter.
Talk to us a little bit about how you got into boxing. I know Peter's mentioned that you've been doing it from when you were a kid, but
Yeah.
what is the passion, what is the drive for you to get into boxing?
Yeah, I'm always busy with this sport when I was young. My dad was also a kickboxer. So I grew up with this sport and we meet Peter and we work together now for years. So yeah.
What's it like having someone like Peter with you and guiding you through your professional career? I'm aware that you're going into fight number 4.
Yeah, I have now 3 and 8th March I go for the 4. The
So
first time in UK.
And we can't wait to see it. I've literally, Peter's spoke about it. It's actually on the GBM show. So we need to get behind you for that. Guys, honestly, you really want to watch him fight. I've just seen him spar and he is, I'm not going to say special yet.
Okay.
I'm not going to get too excited. But I'm going to say he's entertaining.
Yeah.
So working with Peter then, what is it like working with Peter? Alongside your father, but living in Holland, coming to the UK.
Yeah, the contact is really good, and sometimes Peters come to the Netherlands to work together. Sometimes I come to the UK, and they text each other every day after my training, and so we work.
His father has worked tirelessly with him from a baby.
Yeah.
You know, he works with him every single day, twice a day in the gym. So me and his father were talking all the time, and all of it is when I come over to Holland, I have a week, and he comes over here, and it's just a team effort where we want this kid. Obviously, his father with his son, but because I know I've got a close relationship with the family, and I look at him, you know, he's almost like my own family anyway. So I really want the best for this lad. So, and I've always said, this kid's going to be a world champion. I've always said that.
And that's what I'm saying, Peter. When did you see that? What did you see in him that made him stand out like that?
I've seen it with from being, I don't know, he'd be 9 or 10 maybe.
That young?
Yeah.
And he was, I took him on the pads and I said to his father, I said, listen, because his father's a 9-time world champion kickboxer, yeah? So it's normal for the son to carry on and be similar to the dad, but they do, you know?
True.
So I just said to his father, I said, listen, this kid is a boxer. I said, with his build, the power on his shots, he had that natural ability. And I said, you know, guide him to the boxing. And the rest is history. And he has. So, and definitely it was the right decision for him because he's made for the sport.
How many amateur fights did you have?
In the 80, I think 85, 86.
And then what titles or, you know, what did you win from the amateurs?
Now, in the amateur, I did not special titles. Yeah, I have the IBA fight nights. I beat Arlen Lopez, who won the 2 times the Olympic game. So that was a good one. But I like more do the pro fights.
Talk to us about your style then, because obviously, you know, I'm not going to disclose what happens in sparring, but let our viewers know about your style. What is your boxing style?
Yeah, it's hard to say that for myself. What's my boxing style?
Peter,
Yeah.
I'll let Peter do it.
Better you can ask Peter.
Talk to us about his boxing style.
Well, that boxing style's been worked on since he was a child, so he's super awkward. He's got a good reach, he's got power, he's got speed, and the main thing is he's super relaxed. So
I think that's also the important thing. Yeah. Relaxed.
I did notice that with you because, and you work really well on the inside as well. You're able to, the angles that he's able to get to, that the long rangey body shots. I mean, we could go on.
Yeah, you can do different things. I can go fight close, distance, a little bit all around.
So fighting in the UK, then having your debut in the UK, what does that mean to you? And getting your face out to obviously the British public, you know, we're massive boxing fans.
Yeah, I can't wait to fight here. I'm really happy to can fight next month.
And finally, then, how can we follow you on social media? Give us your social media details.
Yeah, I'm active on Instagram. My full name, Gradus Kraus. So you can follow me on the Instagram.
But people really need to watch because boxing's about excitement and he brings it in bucket loads. So when you see him box, this is a special young fighter coming through. So I don't need to PR him. You're going to see him on March the 8th and you'll see for yourselves.
And this is what we like to hear. So we're going to end it there. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. All the best in your next fight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, Peter. But not yet. We'll catch up. We'll catch up.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.